Today's episode is brought to you by the Sounds in Cinema podcast.
Everything sequel contains explicit language. And why the fudge not, you melon farmer?
We're pitching for the Ocean series, friends. My name is Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards. Joining me, the man trying to pitch for the movies he doesn't even like, Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions. Say hi, Tom.
I wasn't in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Just protect your fake baby.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
The part of the Ocean series we can both agree on.
Yes.
The talents of Matt Damon.
With him and Bruce Willis working in that scene.
Yeah.
You got fucking gold, baby. Gold, I tell ya.
And I realize I'm on a I'm on a train of asking this question, but have Matt Damon and Bruce Willis worked together before or after? I don't remember them being on screen.
I don't remember them. Yeah, he was with Affleck, of course, but not.
Well, what was he with Affleck in?
Armageddon.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Matt Damon doesn't want to be in a movie with him. Just the idea that by association he might have been
else.
Yes. Just the idea that he might have been in Armageddon by association.
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
Like, everything that Matt Damon does gets connected to Affleck, whether he wants it to or not. It's like, yeah, I was in Argo, but I was not in Armageddon.
I am not stooping J-Lo.
I thought you weren't in either. Yeah, but I'll take credit for one, because that one won some awards.
Exactly.
All right, well, here we are. Time to pitch, friend.
Indeed. This crept up quickly.
Yeah, real quick.
And I think it was for the best.
Meaning what? Like you just had to push through and...
Yeah, the more thought you put into pitching an Ocean's movie, I think...
I agree with that.
The easier it is to fall apart, I think.
Yes.
It'll fall apart in front of you if you apply too much cognitive reason to it.
I told you, I think yesterday, I can't remember if it was on or off mic, that I had sketched this outline.
Yeah.
And then I realized that was as far as I'd gotten, because to get into the weeds on an Ocean's movie is very difficult.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because what's going to be, like, do you have to decide on your third act retcon?
Your ruse? Yeah.
Yeah.
The ruse for the audience?
Yeah, what you thought was going on in the heist versus what is actually going on. Do you have to come up with that at pitch stage? Probably not.
So I take it you didn't come up with that.
No, not at all. No.
All right.
This is probably the closest to like an industry pitch that I've ever done.
Oh.
And it's out of necessity and lack of time. I really have no choice but to thumbnail it in a way that might garner some investment.
No poltergeist?
Well, I'll admit that I did start with the title, which is what I do when I'm short on time. I work backwards.
What do you mean short on time? It's all you do. It's your favorite thing to do. Start with the title. And that feeds your story.
Yeah, I think we got to make allowances for Poltergeist because that was just an opportunity that was too good to pass up.
Yes.
That pun. And this isn't a pun-based title, but I have thought back from the title on this one.
All right.
What about you? How you sketched an outline? Did you manage to flesh that out in the wee small hours since we last saw each other?
So, I really kind of had a turn where I had that basic outline.
Yeah.
And then 4 separate kind of outlines within that basic outline.
Oh,
And
that's interesting. I might have done something similar.
really,
Except more than 4. Significantly more than 4.
I had several different avenues
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
that I was going down, and well, I'll just tell you, since you know that the audience wouldn't know. I think we were going to start recording at about 6:30 p.m. and I had gotten home. I knew I needed to get something to eat. I knew I needed to shower, and I knew I needed to set up this sad existence of mine inside of the closet, and I could.
Excuse me. Our sad existence inside of our closets.
Sorry,
okay?
sorry. And I knew I couldn't do all of them and work on this pitch, so I sent you a message saying, how about, I think I can be ready by 6:45. And then I literally just tried to think of what I need to do with this pitch while eating and showering and setting up. And I came up with something. I'm both impressed and alarmed that you're able to multitask even 2 of those tasks. Well, I'm not saying I was eating in the shower.
Well, that's what it sounded like, quite frankly. You gave yourself 15 minutes, you were showering, eating, and you had your legal pad in there, too.
Yeah. I did those one after another, but was thinking about this throughout all of them.
It wasn't like Kramer with his garbage disposal in the shower, no.
I mean, in the end, I certainly came up with the beginning.
Yeah.
And I came up with an idea where I went, wow, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know,
Right.
as I pitch it, if it will lead me down a dark alley I cannot get out of when I talk to Tom. But I think I have enough to go on.
Interesting.
And would include, like, the shiftiness at the end of the movie.
Oh. So you got a beginning and an end to the movie, sounds like.
But more of a beginning, a bit of an end, and
Yeah.
and as we talk, I'll work out the middle.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we might have done something similar. I guarantee that our pitches are not the same idea, because no one in their right mind would come up with the idea that I've come up with. But
I love it
have
when
a
you
feeling...
say that. I love it when you say that.
But I feel like in terms of approach, we're arriving at our pitches in the same way, because I have a very strong framing narrative for the movie, but everything in between is a bit more loosey goosey, shall we say?
Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess I'm apprehensive because I have a sticking point. Like, I had an idea, and it's an idea I like. But if I was actually writing the script, I think in the end, I think it might be one of those ideas I'd have to get rid of. Like, it wouldn't work for the narrative I've built.
Yeah, I mean, basically, with what I wanted to do with my pitch, I anticipated 3 major obstacles to doing that.
Yeah.
And I had to basically work around those 3 distinct. They're not like part of the same obstacle. They're 3 distinct obstacles that I had to overcome in order for this pitch to materialize.
All right. Where does that leave us?
Well, you seem to have a little bit of momentum.
You think so?
You've come straight from the shower. I can see you on Zoom. You're dripping. You've got carbonara in your hair. Facial hair, of course.
I think you just want me to go first because you don't want to, and
yeah,
I think you should go first, so I have more time to think.
I'm happy to go first, but okay. If you want to buy some time, I got a sense that you were, you were starting to connect I didn't want to spoil your flow.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll flow for a good 90 seconds, and then I'll say, okay, now. And that now is me trying to
Yeah.
think of the entire middle of the movie.
Turn to page 63 if
Yeah.
you if
Yeah.
you will accept the juggler's coin.
Well,
Turn to page 53 if you will reject the juggler's coin.
I guess the where I'm stuck is like the characters in this movie, I'm trying to think of a way to not repeat,
Yeah.
and I'm stuck there basically because I haven't done enough research or know enough about security to know what obstacles to set up against my heroes and how to beat those.
That's your obstacle, is that you don't know enough about security protocols?
Yes.
Well, I gotta say, in this,
I mean, I could just turn off the fucking lights again, because it worked for both originals,
Well, all you have to do is turn off the lights, but tell people you're doing something other than turning off the lights.
I did have one idea. I had one idea different from turning off the lights at the last second that I hope will happen. We'll see.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, what do you mean you hope will happen? Like in your pitch?
Yeah, because, I mean, you never know. As I go along, I might write myself out of that corner.
Okay.
Or write myself into a corner that could not include that.
Okay. This really is a choose-your-own-adventure style pitch that you're coming up with here.
Yeah.
This could literally go anywhere. I think we should record several versions of you giving this pitch.
Well,
Because
I'll tell
it
you
sounds
what.
like they would all be different.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. At the very least, I'll give you I can't even remember, 2 to 4 outline kind of, little outlines within the big outline that I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, or do I have to
No, I'll
go
wait.
first? Okay. That's your minimum promise. You're gonna give
Yes.
me two big outlines and 4 little outlines. Like I've sent you off I sent you into the writer's room to figure that out.
Yeah.
I want 2 big outlines and 2 little outlines by 4 p.m. Meh.
It's like you're a teacher that sent me into a room to write my essay.
Yeah.
And then I come back and you say, "Did you write your essay?" And I said, "No, but I have these 4 doodles."
It's you've got like 3 words on each page.
Yes.
So you're an essay length without actually being at an essay word count.
I've written 3 essays.
Yeah. I used a lot of paper.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is very okay.
Before we start,
we got more. All right.
Before we start, tell me generally, you said you came up with your title first?
Yes.
Once again. So, how excited were you about your title? And was it difficult to come up with that title, or was it
Well, I
snap of the
applied.
fingers?
It was a snap of the fingers because I just applied the logic of the series. So, we go Ocean's 11, and then we go Ocean's 12 and 13. So we're going up, and then the next film in the series is Ocean's 8. So clearly the trend is down. If you were kind of trying to figure out what's the numerical pattern sequence here, at this point you would go Ocean 7. So that's the title I came up with. And then, so I had that title, and I thought, well, what's the significance of that? And the first thing I thought of is
7-Eleven.
Oh, that's even better.
They're knocking over a 7-Eleven.
Can we record this tomorrow? That's it. Right, if you're not going to go first, you can't come up with better pitch ideas while I'm giving my pitch, okay?
My apologies.
I'm kidding. That's fantastic. Ocean 7-Eleven. We'll have to brainstorm that pitch at the end of both of our pitches, if indeed
Yeah.
that is not your pitch. Yeah, Ocean 7-Eleven. That's fantastic. They challenge themselves to knock over a 7-Eleven. It's seemingly the most simple heist there is.
I remember being told by friends when I was a youngster, and we were kind of delinquenty. We used to like to try and nab a candy here and there.
Yeah.
And then my friends would say, "Don't you ever try to steal from a 7-Eleven. They got mirrors.
Really?
Oh, they'll catch you."
They've got mirrors?
Yeah, those big circular mirrors in the corners of the store that they thought.
I'd be more worried about guns, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a realistic possibility.
Well,
They've
when
got a
you're 9
big
or 10,
gun.
you worry about the mirrors.
You worry about the mirrors.
So I was very proud one day when I Danny Ocean walked out of a 7-Eleven with a candy bar in my pocket and said, "Don't tell me about mirrors."
Well, while we're talking about the high crimes of our youth, I had a very brief shoplifting phase.
Yeah, me
And
too.
The proceeds of my robberies were a pair of scissors from a hair salon and literally one piece of candy.
Like a Tootsie Roll?
Well, no, like a loose piece of candy. This is how you knew it was shoplifting for the sake of shoplifting, because there was no material gain
Right.
for any of this. I just reached behind me and put my hand into the loose can of jelly beans and got like one jelly bean and stole it.
One
I took
jelly
one
bean?
jelly bean, yeah. One
That's
jelly bean.
great.
And the scissors, I believe I used to cut my own hair, which is, which is another story.
Oh, I give myself what I call thief haircuts.
Exactly.
It's with my thieving scissors.
And again, I don't think I was stealing them to cut my own hair. Like, it's not like
Did
it's
you
not
nab
like I
them?
lived in.
Did you nab them out of some of that blue liquid?
No, it didn't come out of the barber side. It was in like a tray. I was the same ploy as the jelly bean. Like, I backed into the tray. I like stood with my back covering the tray, my big fat back, and gave me ample coverage, and picked out the pair of scissors, and then I guess put them in my pocket. I don't know. And I told my parents about it a couple of days later. Like, I took this. Am I weird? And they were like, "Yeah, that's a really strange thing to do."
That's bizarre.
Bearing in mind, my parents were the kind of people who were like, in my teenage years, that I'd be up in my room and they'd be like, "Can you just go out and demolish some phone boxes or something? Just do like normal juvenile delinquent things, so we don't worry about you."
Yes, right.
So they were underwhelmed by my criminal period, I think.
That's very funny.
But anyway, I just
Stop. They're like, stop writing letters to sick grandparents and children and start thieving and destroying things, please.
Exactly. Which is got nothing to do with the pitch I came up with, but Ocean 7-Eleven is I guarantee that's better than what either of us have got up our sleeves right now. So, Ocean 7, there are 7 oceans, 7 continents.
Oh my god.
So my thoughts immediately went to...
They're going to thieve something on, like, Antarctica?
Yes. So
All right.
my thoughts went to Danny Ocean. Danny Ocean participates. He stages the world's first intercontinental heist. So he's going to rob from casinos on 7 continents simultaneously around the world.
Okay.
So
we're still in Casino Land.
yeah.
What
Well,
exactly is the most famous casino in Antarctica?
well, hence my three obstacles. Okay.
Okay.
Right. The big one being Antarctica,
Yes.
which is virtually uninhabited. There certainly isn't a casino there. So there's that. Also, Danny Ocean is dead within the continuity of the series.
Correct.
As where we left it. So gotta do something with that. And I can't remember what the third obstacle is. I'm sure you could come up with something. But
maybe it'll come to you as you go along.
oh, that's it. No, I know what the third obstacle is. I don't know why I forgot, because it's the most important one. Really, is that what I'm talking about is 7 separate movies, which I have to do in the frame of one movie.
Now,
but I'm not gonna let these obstacles stop me.
Now, okay. One question. If it's
just
simultaneous,
one. Wow.
My biggest question so far.
Yeah.
If it's 7 simultaneous robberies of casinos.
Yeah.
Within the frame of a series of movies in which it takes always between 8 and 13 people to pull off these magnificent, complicated crimes, does that mean that one person per continent is pulling off the heist?
Well, don't think I didn't consider that, but that's what I'm saying is, like, essentially I've got to put 7 movies into one. So let's deal with all these obstacles separately, okay? Obstacle number 1, the Antarctica No, you're bringing up a good point. You just don't know about my solutions yet. If you knew my solutions, correct, this would all make sense. Right, the Antarctica problem. Okay, so what happens after Ocean's 13 with Willie Bank? We don't know. Don't know what Willie did next. Okay? So, in my pitch, Willie reacted to the ruin of his casino by a group of criminals by building the most remote casino in the world. On the continent of Antarctica, and it's called
to pander to scientists.
Banktarctica.
You did it just for that wordplay.
So he thinks he solved all his problems here because, it's so remote. There's Danny Ocean and his crew are not getting anywhere near it. There's no getaway possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the world's most remote casino, you'll only get the highest of high rollers, the most exclusive clientele that have to be flown in and out. So, everything that happened in Ocean's 13 with people drifting in and out of his casino, participating in the heist, that's not going to happen. So, Danny Ocean is going to deal specifically with Banktarctica. That's going to be his part of the heist.
All right.
Is dealing with Willie Bank and his Banktarctica casino. This is why I was sure you hadn't come up with the same idea, by the way.
Yeah.
It's sentences like that assured me this was an original premise. That was no
a safe bet.
Of being plagiarized. Okay, so that problem is, I think you'll agree, solved.
Oh, clearly. Without question. No notes.
So, obstacle number 2, Danny Ocean being dead in the continuity of the series.
Yeah, that's pretty easy though.
Actually, I'm gonna parlay that to because I need to deal with obstacle 3 first, because obstacle 3 will explain how I deal with obstacle. Second, yes, that's right. That's where I am.
Yeah.
So obstacle number 3 is, how do you fit 7 movies into one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why can't it be 7 movies?
No, you're coming up with 7 separate sequels.
yes and no. Okay.
Okay.
So what have we done in the Ocean series? We've had a reboot.
Oh,
We've
wait,
had...
limited series? Limited series.
No. Again, you're coming up with better ideas, and it's it's making me feel like I've made a mistake. No. So we've had reboots, we've had sequels to the reboot, and we've had a gender flip spin-off. So what's one area of the sequel or remake market that we've not exploited? Foreign language remakes in global territories. Okay? So depending on where you are in the film-going world, you will get a different Ocean 7 set entirely in your continent.
It's like Clue.
Featuring native actors from your region.
Ah.
But each Ocean 7 movie is going to begin and end exactly the same way. They're going to have the same framing narrative. And it will begin with a video introduction from Danny Ocean, where he sets up the plan, how they're going to do it. And then so that's your prologue. And then you go into your respective movies, and it's going to be a different heist crew made up entirely of local.
Well, each
talent.
one with that framing narrative, is each one a different Danny then?
No,
like that,
Danny Ocean is the constant. Danny Ocean is George Clooney's. He's gonna tie the room together.
Gotcha.
He's gonna be the rug in the Big Lebowski. He's really gonna tie this room together. So every movie is gonna begin like that, and every movie will end with him collecting the proceeds on a. Bear with me here.
Okay.
A boat that's sailing around the world, which, as it passes whatever continent he's passing, will drop the proceeds in, and so that's how they collect the proceeds. So each movie have the same beginning and ending, but in the middle of it is going to be whatever your national cinema decided to make based on the Oceans franchise.
Right. In
that context, you can see how it's already the Danny problem is already kind of half solved.
Sure.
Because our go with me. Okay. Because our North American Ocean 7 is going to be a continuation of the Ocean's 8 story.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to end with Debbie Ocean at George Clooney's tomb. So we're gonna do another kind of sequel classic. We're gonna pick up from the very end, the last line of that movie, and of course, it's just as the movie ends that Ruben appears again, as he did at the beginning of the movie in the same locale, and he goes up to Debbie and he said, it's a shame Danny's not here to see what you achieved. And she says, yeah, I can't imagine what he'd say. And it's like, oh, I know what he'd say. And she's like, yeah. No, and she says, yeah, I guess he was kind of predictable towards the end. It's like, no, I know what he's gonna say because he sent me a video message that I'm supposed to give to you. And then he hands her an iPad, and she presses
you should have
play
done
on
photos with captions.
What, for the international markets?
Just because sequel photos like.
Oh, that's well. We didn't talk. We didn't talk about that photo of George Clooney in Ocean's 8.
Yeah, that's true.
The headshot, the classic Imbass headshot photo.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's on an iPad, and she presses play, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I had to pretend that I was dead so I could disappear and travel the world, planning this heist for a while." So but I'm proud of you. You're ready for the big one. You're ready to, you're ready for bigger things.
This message will self-destruct.
Yes. And he says, so go out, reassemble your crew, and await my instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be the only difference in the North American version. Actually, you could pretty much put this in any. This can be in all seven. All seven movies. What am I talking about? This can be...
The look on your face when you realize what you're actually pitching.
This is the cold open to all of these movies, okay?
Okay.
I was originally thinking that this would just be in the North American version, but actually it could be in all of them because we want some kind of natural segue out of Ocean's 8. And I think you'll agree that provides a smooth landing. So that's the cold open. Then we get the framing narrative. So the cold open and the prologue is the same in every territory, and the ending is the same. But what is in between is up to the imaginations of various filmmakers around the world. The only other stipulation I have is that in the European heist, we're going to pick up Terry Benedict's story. Okay, so after Ocean's 13, he becomes involved with that charity.
Mm-hmm.
He attracts the interest. He forms a partnership with the Vatican, and in another nod to Godfather 3, he gets involved in the Vatican are bankrolling his new casino venture in Italy. And of course the name of the casino is Benediction.
Perfect. Well played.
So that is all 7 of the Ocean 7 movies in a nutshell. A very it's one of those Austin Powers nutshells. What am I doing here? What nut has?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
No.
Okay.
So there we go. So I'm looking for international investment. There's a starting amount. Contact me for details.
That idea is just crazy enough to work.
I mean, this, it's the future of. I mean, if you don't want to be a part of the future of cinema, I get it. Okay, but this is, as we all know, is where cinema's going. And I want to be riding that train, not caught underneath the wheels.
Perfect.
No, I mean it's ridiculous, but it's the only place I felt I could go. I decided.
I love that. That's the only place you could go.
I felt backed into a corner, and that was my way of getting out of this corner by opening the franchise up to the entire world of cinema.
Wonderful. I like it. That's insane.
Thanks.
I mean, that's delightfully insane.
It's megalomaniacal. Really, isn't it? I mean, it's a Bond villain's pitch for a movie.
I love the idea of Bank and his far off icy casino.
Plus, you can do some Insomnia references as well, can't you? With him,
right?
Not adjusting to it being dark most of the time, and yeah.
Bank is such a visionary. You could do how where do they have, like in Norway or whatever? Do they have those ice bars, stuff like that?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. And again,
so it's like you could build something where like the super rich go to the most remote place in the world to spend their money.
Which also feature, by the way, in Die Another Day as well. So, yet another reason. Yeah, I mean that's in. Obviously, I was led by the concept and the pun to come up with Bangkok.
Yes, of course.
But that's what I was seeing in my mind was the equivalent of one of those kind of Norwegian ice bars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could pull it off
on a much bigger scale with an ice roulette table. Just like every time they spin it, every time the dealer
we have white numbers and blue numbers
around with it.
Yeah.
Of course, as you know, all the dealers are penguins as well. So that's the other aspect of it.
And blink and you miss it, but dealing cards way off in the background is Danny DeVito as the penguin. Just
Just sneaked in,
Yeah.
eating a whole fish.
All right. That's good times.
Well, I mean, I must have given you enough time.
You you certainly gave the effort, and I appreciate it.
As I also gave you a pitch that you didn't really need to listen to more than the first part of, because
Oh no, I'm invested. I was there every moment.
it's once you know what it's about, it's a runaway freight train at that point.
I didn't allow my mind to drift.
No, I know.
All right. I guess it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll tell you.
There's still time for you to improvise Ocean 7-Eleven.
The most expensive 7-Eleven in the world.
There you go.
That would be in Japan, probably, right? So the team goes to Japan.
Well, I don't know. Those egg sandwiches are pretty coveted over there.
I just was gonna say they have to get those egg sandwiches out of the 7-Eleven.
There's something disconcerting about going to a 7-Eleven and being satisfied by the food you get. That doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't think the Japanese quite understand what 7-Eleven means.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's like, once it becomes good, it should be removed from the premises.
All right. Well, Tom, I had probably no fewer than a dozen titles.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
For this movie.
Oceans 1, Oceans 2, Oceans 3, Oceans 4. Yeah.
Because I knew that that's where your mind would be. And just to be just cards on the table, I could easily just call this movie the total opposite of you and the total opposite of the trend of the series that you mentioned. And I could call this movie Ocean's 14.
Yes, you could. Have you?
But I don't think I'm going to.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to.
You're giving me the Larry David stare there. You're trying to...
Well, I would like to subvert your expectations just this once. But I have to I have to consider within that once I start adding words, you will most likely hate it. So if I say 14, you might be disappointed, but understand it. Once I start adding words.
Well, this is such a number-centric series that it's a real dilemma. It's a real dilemma for you because, it's almost too easy.
It is, and also, like the title I came up with, I think it was probably one of the first titles I came up with. But it's also playing on something that's kind of recently in pop culture stories.
Like Tinder?
Huh?
Like Tinder?
Yeah, right. All right, I'll just say it. I think I'm going to call this movie Ocean's Gambit.
Ocean's Gambit.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit like gambling, which I'm sure is the intention.
Yeah.
But it once again uses a word that is not in common usage.
Tom, come on. That's enough in common use. People know that word. Enough.
Okay.
For you to not give me shit.
Fair enough.
That was my argument.
It's also a title that you feel like as soon as you say it, people will like, did you say gambling? No, Gambit. Like that's how.
Here's how I figure it.
Okay.
Here's how I rationalized it. The Queen's Gambit was popular enough that people knew about it, and that I can draft off of it.
I stand corrected. Yes.
So
as a player, I totally forgot about the Queen's Gambit.
All right.
So, yes, Gambit is in popular usage. Absolutely, yes. enough to be on a Netflix show, then it's enough to be in the title of an Ocean's movie. All right.
Perfect.
You checkmate. To you, sir.
All right. We open with Danny Ocean being walked down the hall in handcuffs with guards. This is designed to make you think Danny Ocean is back in jail. However, he is not. He's going to be led into a room, and in that room is Matt Damon as Linus, handcuffed to a chair and beaten pretty severely.
Ooh.
In steps...
Is this set in purgatory?
No.
Okay.
In steps the villain. I need a name.
Skeletor.
Fernando. The one I jotted down was a. I need an Italian name, so I put Agosti.
Fernando Agosti.
Yes.
Okay. It's a little. I mean, it's a little on the nose, but I think we can. It's a good placeholder, certainly. Fernando Agosti.
He stands in front of Danny Ocean and he says, "You think you could steal from me?"
Fernando Agosti.
Fernando Agosti. And he says, you know, Danny Ocean is kind of trying to placate him and trying to, you know, be suave and smooth. And he says, maybe you'd like to talk to your old friend. And he kind of turns on the TV and there's Terry Benedict. Terry Benedict is saying, sorry, Danny, you shouldn't have given away my money to the kids and you shouldn't have pretended to be dead. So that I
like that's good backdoor exposition right there.
Yeah. So in that, we know that then Danny says something akin to, you know, that donation in the kids' names gave you so much good credit. You got 2 more casinos built and put Willie Bank out of business and vanquished him as an enemy. I did you a favor. And he says, well, I always get even with my enemies, Danny. And he's like, bye-bye. And so, as he's saying goodbye, Danny's calling him a rat. He's not very happy. He says, bye-bye, Danny. The next thing you know, Fernando's putting a gun to Linus's head. And he's saying, nobody can take anything from the Casino Monte Carlo. And that's the moment where Danny Ocean says, you want to bet?
Titles.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you meant by a strong beginning? Or
That's my beginning, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a great cold open.
Yeah.
I'm sensing you don't know where it's going to go from there necessarily. Is that
so?
Correct?
Yes and no. So my main sticking point was I kept imagining this scene. After the hard cut to credits, I imagined, you know, Linus and Danny back with the team saying, you know, Linus saying, he's insane. He just, you know, this is the most insane thing I've ever heard somebody do. He just bet a man that he could steal $250 million from the Casino Monte Carlo inside of 48 hours. What the fuck are we going to do? And now now we have to catch up with the team and start coming up with the plan. Kind of like in the original Ocean's 11, here's what we're going to need. So we're trying to build the plan to like get down into the vaults down below. But meanwhile, as they're casing, I imagined this scene in which, you know, Fernando is walking by, but who's he walking by with? You're always laughing.
I just think it's great that you've settled on this name when you're using it like we've always known this guy. Like, yeah, you remember Fernando. We talked about Fernando all the time. It was Fernando this, Fernando that.
Well, what I imagined was Fernando walking with what he believes is a German heiress, and it's Sandra Bullock.
Oh.
And then she's being tailed by her assistant, Kate Blanchett. And so what I originally imagined was she seeing Danny and not knowing that he was alive. But she was in the middle of her own con with some of her team. And then they piggybacking together.
Oh, so she's not there. She's not there at Danny's behest. She's not part of that crew.
Well, so that's the thing. Like, the original idea I had was that she didn't know Danny was there, much less that he was alive.
Yeah.
So that you could have a scene in which she's pissed at her brother. But
Yeah.
then they, kind of like that scene with Rusty and Danny where he says the thing about Tess and that doesn't split 11 ways. But now they have a way to kind of bring plans together because he's got to steal a specific amount too. Maybe he can get $100 million in cash from the cages, but he's
So it's like Brewster's Millions. If he steals any more than that amount, he's also loses the bet.
Right. To the penny.
So it
right?
can't be 1 cent more. Yeah, it can't be €1 more.
My idea was I'm kind of combining things from different sequels, but in the midst of Hotel Monte Carlo or Casino Monte Carlo, they're having a huge gala, and in the within this gala, there's going to be priceless paintings and priceless jewels. So what I want is the team to have a 3 kind of pronged plan to get the money, to get the jewels, to get the paintings. You're going to laugh when you hear this. As I came up with an idea, and then sometimes you come up with an idea and you're like, oh, is that even feasible? Or, oh, well,
no,
let me just say out loud.
No idea what you're talking about. Sorry. Never crossed my mind.
Sorry. Those are thoughts I have.
You forgot who you were talking to, didn't you?
So, one, I have... it won't ever be mentioned, really, as, 14. But instead, what we have is the combination of teams.
Yes.
So we have some of the men, we have some of the women. We'll have Danny, we'll have Rusty, we'll have Linus, we'll have Livingston. And then and then it was like, okay, who are we going to have after that? I wanted, Sandra Bullock. I wanted Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, because she's the actor. She's going to be coming in as the actor, with lots of hoopla for this, gala. And then Rihanna.
Yep. And
what I liked was this idea of, so as I started researching this, I came across somebody on, I think, a Reddit thread that said this movie they loved from the 70s when they were kids was a Jonathan Winters movie. And it had paintings involved, I think. It was somebody had to come and check a painting. So they said it was real. And then while the painting was being taken up to the next office, they switched it out or something. So my idea was the team kind of infiltrates the casino, but one, they have to Danny and Linus are already known, so they'll be followed everywhere they go. They have whatever within the plan that happens, it has to be specific to maybe they're a decoy, right?
They have to be decoys, yeah.
And then everybody else is
no, in fact they have to be red herring decoys.
Yeah, right.
Because they have to think that they're the decoys, but they're actually not the decoys.
Mm-hmm.
They're a red herring for the actual decoys.
Yes, excellent.
Otherwise, Fernando Agosti would immediately think, well, they're not going to implicate themselves in the robbery, so anything they do will be a decoy. But the plan must be that they know Fernando Agosti's gonna think that. Why do I keep fucking using both his names? Like he's a real person.
Fernando Agosti. Yes.
So Fernando Agosti.
You're loving it.
That Fernando Agosti would think that they were trying to be decoys.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to double bluff him as well. So
Yeah.
they would have to be
Well,
involved
so-
in a way that that doesn't look like it's involved in the robbery, but is
Yeah.
involved in the robbery.
So what I ended up kind of coming to was that the male part of Danny Ocean's team would all kind of be more known, and they would be the ones who get caught.
Yeah.
But they have to get caught because that's part of the plan.
Yes.
So as they are doing all the shenanigans that they're doing that set off alarms and make people go haywire, that's when, I kind of started thinking about National Treasure. When the Declaration of Independence falls back into the, wall and starts shooting up. Shooting up, not like heroin. You understand what I mean? Like wires and taking
I know
it.
what you mean. It's also kind of a bit Thomas Crown affair as well.
Yeah, kind of like that. And so
The
for
Pierce
me,
Brosnan Thomas Crown affair.
for me, what I liked was an idea of having our grease man of Yen be in the ventilation system, but there's lots of kind of Mission Impossible problems with that, the lasers and in Mission Impossible when he
Hashtag Mission Impossible problems. Yeah.
when he slides that thing across the beams and it just captures it in its own thing, stuff like that. And then as the shit's being pulled into the ventilation shafts to be taken somewhere else, Yen is able to be in there and switch stuff out. But you also need both Livingston and Rihanna and their computer skills to slow the movement down so that he has enough time to get it on.
Yeah.
All of that's happening. Meanwhile, because Danny Ocean's team has to kind of get caught, it's going to be Debbie's team that's getting into the vault and getting money and taking it out. And then my only problem was in the end, I didn't know if at the beginning, because if you actually, maybe there's enough arrogance on Agosti's part to say it just will never happen. And, if you steal all my money, good for you. You can keep it. That's part of the bargain.
I gotta say, that would be the solution. That would be the obvious solution, is that we don't have to account for a getaway, because the bet, if the bet's won, the bet's won. He has to provide, armed escorts.
They just have to get out of the building.
Well, it would be like if we can leave, I don't know, get it 200 yards outside the grounds of the casino.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're responsible for all our transportation from then on. That's that's part of the bet. That can be part of the bet.
Right.
And then it'll be unlike any other Ocean sequel, because one, you as the screenwriter don't have to think of a getaway plan.
Yeah, right.
And two, it'll be a novel twist on what we normally do.
Well, they do have to
So
get
it's
out of
win-win.
the building, so there's that much of a getaway at least.
Yeah.
But on top of it, so the double switch idea is that the whole
They
time
build another Casino Monte Carlo 200 yards down the road, a la Blazing Saddles.
he goes into the casino and it just falls over. Agosti's like, "Where's my casino?"
So their net profit is 0.1 cents.
It's a Potemkin Village casino.
That would be a variation on the building the replica of the Bellagio vault, like building a replica of the casino.
Yeah.
That would be the red herring, because everyone would be in the fake casino while you rob the real casino.
Well, and I don't have enough right now, I don't think, to know, basically my idea was the double switch for the audience is thinking that Danny's going to get caught, but again, as usual, that's part of the plan to get this started and do that. And meanwhile, Debbie's team is doing their thing. But then I also kind of wanted to play into the at the very end with I also thought that because there was so much shit being pulled into the vents, that maybe it could be Yen and the Night Fox together.
Yeah.
So we could bring Castle back in, and then the last switch.
Are you counting how many of the team you're using? Has it gone past 14 yet?
Not yet.
Are you still under 14? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw you before we went on. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that what you were?
So I had a total of 14, but as I'm talking, I'm realizing, like when I started talking about people, I got to Gould, and then I cut Basher and the twins because I thought to myself, I don't know if I have enough time for them.
It's like picking a starting lineup, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But the final switcheroo would be at the very end. We see Terry Benedict talking with Danny Ocean, and Danny saying, "Your cut's on the way." Because he had set it all in motion on purpose. And even Linus getting caught was on purpose, as was Danny getting caught on purpose, and that's his gambit.
Interesting.
So, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And if you want an extra layer to that, you could have them join forces with Agosti.
In the next movie?
Benedict. Well, in this movie, at some point they make an alliance, and then Terry Benedict never gets his cut.
That's
so
true.
They get revenge anyway. I mean, you don't need another twist, really. It's kind of interesting because on paper your idea is simpler, but when you say it out loud, it sounds way more convoluted.
I know,
than
right?
My 7 movies, each in distinct international markets.
Yes.
And I don't quite know how that's the case. Like,
how did that happen?
Cleaner as an idea, whereas yours is actually feasible to make.
Yeah, I mean. Once I came out with it, so I had promised something too. I had different ideas. At one point, so God, can I remember these? At one point, it wasn't a combination. It was Danny's team, and I said to myself, okay, so Bernie Mac and Carl Reiner are dead. So if we eliminate Eddie Izzard as well, we're down to 9.
Eliminate Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, like we're down to 9. And I thought, so I had ideas about Linus himself, by himself, trying to try something in Monte Carlo and getting caught, and then the thing they had to steal basically was him. Essentially, Agosti was going to be killing him, and they had to try and get him out because they weren't going to take him to the police because they know that part of this con artist's thing is that somebody will pick him up and take him away, and it will be somebody. It will not be a real cop.
Bob Einstein and Sherry Jones are outside,
so,
with their fake badges, and it's like, no.
Because they knew that, they wouldn't let him go, so. Yeah. They're all like, Linus is on the hook, so let's get back together and save Linus. And then I had another avenue in which Danny was thought to be dead by everybody. And then, like, kind of 2 teams came together to try and find Danny when they have a clue that he's, not dead. So
I flirted with the idea that he was like sent, I think I mentioned it in the episode, the kind of Sarah Connor tomb full of guns that he
right, yeah, totally,
like a treasure hunt around the world.
But the big frame was Monte Carlo because
Legend of Curly's Gold style.
Yeah, the big frame was Monte Carlo because I figured you're combining Europe and Casino.
Yeah.
So that's where I started.
And Terry Benedict's Casino could still be called Benediction in your version.
True. Plus, I like it's only one line. Like when you mentioned Bank, I thought to myself, "Ooh, I wonder if I could bring Bank back into this real quick."
I have to say, I was half expecting Fernando Agosti, even though I know it's not an anagram for Willie Bank.
To be an anagram for Willie Bank, that'd be great.
That he just pulls off a fake beard, and
so
it's
it's funny you say that, because for the briefest of moments, and I'm only remembering this now because I only considered it for like 5 seconds, maybe a week ago, and then forgot about it. But I did consider like whoever I hadn't had a name at that point, but whoever I came up with was like related to Willie Bank.
Oh, maybe.
And that's part of the reason he wanted to do this. So
Union Bank, Chemical Bank. West Bank. Pistachio nut. What pistachio nut?
Pistachio Bank.
Yeah, it's kind of, you could make him a Southern character and then fold in Al Pacino's late turn into a Southern gentleman into there, so no one would suspect it was Willie Bank because he was speaking like Foghorn Leghorn for the entire movie. Instead of Sylvester the Cat.
Well, there you have it. 2 pitches in the books.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, I think we both work well under pressure.
Yeah, not bad, right?
I don't want to think too much about that because I don't enjoy being under pressure, and I don't want to subject myself to that. But I'm impressed by the results from both of us.
All right, me too.
We both got a lot out of.
And it's not easy, right? Like
nothing.
This is not an easy series to kind of.
Absolutely not.
Especially when you consider the female gender swapped reboot.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So it's you have to make a clear you have to make a clear decision about where to go, and you have lots of choices. You can go original team, the new team. You can combine the teams. You can set a heist in a ice casino in Antarctica. Few people would think of that. So,
yes,
you were right when you said your pitch. The one thing I knew was your pitch would not be like mine.
There's no way two people would come up
crossover.
with that idea. Yeah, the only person I feel like could have come up with that pitch in the world other than me was maybe David Lynch.
Yeah, right.
Like on one of his transcendental meditation retreats.
Yeah.
Like he draws enough of those diagrams to create this idea.
Well, and if you wanted the movie to lean in a slightly different direction, maybe Tim Burton.
Yeah, well, I meant to ask, who do you see for Fernando Agosti?
How about Viggo Mortensen?
Yeah, that's really good. That is really good.
Fuck, I should just use his name. His actual name. It's a better name.
It's so funny. There's a guy, there's an actor who looks just like you, and he's also called Viggo Mortensen. Right. What's really good about that is, like, I can see him as Fernando Agosti, which is now just a thing. Okay, now it's like a real thing. Now that we've talked, we've birthed it into
willed
existence.
It into existence.
Yeah. When in sci-fi, when you create a parallel universe,
yes.
So like when you create a parallel universe and then it goes off and stays in the universe after you've left it, just because you created it. That's what we've done here.
Yeah, it's the ribbon. It's the ribbon, and in Generations.
The Nexus, yes.
Yeah, the Nexus. Correct. Yeah.
We're riding horses with William Shatner in Idaho, not Iowa.
Yes, right.
But what's also great about that is like he's perfect for Agosti, but he's also he completes the trio of villains perfectly.
Yeah, right.
It's exactly where you need to go after Pacino and Andy Garcia. He's like a combination of the two.
Right, he really is.
If you put the two of them in a blender, you'd end up with Viggo Mortensen.
Just taller.
Yeah, quite.
All right. Anything left?
No, I don't think so.
We've done
really
good work.
drained the pool.
We've done good work.
We've squeezed the life out of those lemons we were given.
Absolutely. Credit where credit is due, everyone. Throw us a bone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now all you got to do is vote. I'm going to remember your title at least. We got Ocean 7 and Ocean's Gambit.
For the first time ever. And Ocean 7-Eleven, which I'm going to offer to you in the poll sight unseen. Okay?
Perfect.
It's a sealed pitch. Okay? If it wins, you get to hear the pitch. If it doesn't, don't worry about it.
If it wins, we each have to come up with a 7-Eleven.
Ocean 7-Eleven. Oh. It'd be like it's it's Reservoir Dogs meets Clerks.
Bum, 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 ba-da, bum, ba, ba-da, ba, ba. All right. Well, there you go. Your two pitches. You're going to have to tell us what you think, or join the fray. Give us your pitch. Talking to you, Aldrich. Why don't you give us a sequel to the Ocean series?
Do your job, Aldrich. Do your job.
He doesn't give us nearly enough pitches. He never pitches unless he's here.
Well, to be fair, we really should be paying him if he did.
That's true.
Because, I mean, he should. His quote.
His ideas are
pitches
actually worth money.
Well, exactly, yeah. But you know, if he wanted to give us one gratis, since we fell so neatly into his trap,
Yes.
I feel like he owes us at the very least that.
Well said. All right, you're on the clock. So it includes everyone, though. Send us your pitch.
Yeah.
Or tell us what you think of these pitches, by all means. Find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, find us absolutely nowhere else, unless you want to send an email to everythingsequel@gmail.com. All right, for Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here of the How Dare You Awards. When you hear us next, you're going to have to go to YouTube, because we'll be ranking posters for this Oceans series. So be sure to do that. And in the meantime, write a review. Give us a rating. Mm-hmm. Help us shoot up the charts. I want to
join our Patreon.
Join our Patreon. I want to type in the E and just see Everything Sequel jump to the top of my Apple podcast screen.
There we go.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would. But yet, we should remind listeners that if you sign up for a 7-day free trial for Patreon, you can listen to us talk about all the Oceans movies, not just the sequels.
Yeah, we've
reached the nexus of the universe. We've crossed over with our own our own podcast. We're like Kramer at First and First. This must be the nexus of the universe.
Yeah. You don't have to wait for the Ocean series.
Yeah. For the first time ever, you're gonna get every single movie in the franchise in the same month.
So far.
Yeah, we might do it again. But chances are there's going to be a little bit of a lag on that. But no, we just decided to go all in, gambling term, and give you all the Oceans. And it has nothing to do with the fact that they're all leaving streaming services very soon.
You know what I like the most about that? I'll just let the cat out of the bag, because the The Ocean's 11s are out on Patreon now. But at the end of the 2001 Ocean's 11, you said, I don't need that epilogue. I know what happened. I don't need that part of the story. That's the next movie. I don't need anything. And yet, you yourself, gambling term, you have to you got to hit the audience over the head. See, it's not easy.
That's it, yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you have to, Tom.
That's true. I like to provide my own footnotes when I talk.
That was your asterisk.
Yeah, gambling term.
All right, everyone. We'll be back. Thanks for listening. Take care.
I just need it faster and more damaged. Anne Hathaway directing herself like a deranged George Lucas.
I like it as she walks away and she mouths, "Is it really that hard?"
It's great. Yeah. And she's right.
Exactly.
Sometimes acting is simple. What is the fuss about?
All right. So long, everyone. Say goodbye, Tom. I'll add that later.
Now you have to keep it like that. As punishment. You have to keep it like that. Hey, you got it.
If you like podcasts like I do, boy, do I have a treat for you. You need to
stay on target
and check out the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Listen as your host, sound designer and music creator Tony Parham, and co-host, musical performer and sound lover Derek Hansen, D-Rock if you're nasty, and I am, discuss all things sound related to film, television, stage, and theatrical productions. They discuss environmental sounds, bioacoustics, dialogue, the nature of communication through sound, but as an added bonus, they drink beer and try to
stay on target.
Find them wherever you get your podcasts and listen to the pure mania of a man who can charitably be described as Doug, the dog from Up, and another man with a soothing and sultry voice trying to get that man to
stay on target.
That's the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Tune in and listen to the sounds they are creating just for you.